DC the Voice, Alabama Prison Profiles. What's going on with y'all, man? Make sure y'all like, subscribe, share the video, comment on the video, donate to the channel's Cash App and PayPal if you're feeling generous, man, at Bama Prison Files with 2 S's, man. Say y'all visit the description and check out our sponsor, PAX Los Angeles, for the vapes, gas, edibles, merch, etc., man. I should got me a little whoop coming right now in the mail. Finna see what they own, man. Shout out to K for the 50 Cash App. Appreciate you, baby. Now today, we're going to be getting into this prisoner's account of violence, drugs, corruptions, and assaults, as well as living with HIV in an Alabama prison. Let's hop right into that right now. Bullock Prison in Union Springs, Alabama opened in 1987 and is designed to hold 919 prisoners. Alabama Department of Corrections currently has the number of people in prison there at over 1,500. Alabama prisons are currently and consistently around 70% over capacity. In recent weeks, multiple prisoners from Bullock Correctional Facility have reached out to do interviews about the prison conditions and their lives. Over the coming weeks and months, those stories will comprise a series about Bullock Correctional Facility, with each story focusing on a different prisoner. Last week, a prisoner in Bullock who we'll call Derek, in his early 50s, he discussed his time incarcerated, physical and mental health issues, barriers to getting help, overcrowding, violence, drugs, being targeted as gay due to his recent HIV diagnosis, and many other topics. He has been in prison for over 20 years of his total life. He's been serving his current sentence since 2006 and has been transferred through several different prisons in the state during that time, as most prisoners are in Alabama. He is doing time under the Habitual Felony Offender Act. All of his charges have been non-violent drug-related offenses. Derek was diagnosed with HIV in recent years, which has caused him concern for his safety and resulted in harassment and assaults from some of the other prisoners. In the past, he has also sustained knee and hip injuries, had surgery for both, and currently has an injured shoulder from falling in the midst of a seizure. The seizures are one of several health issues like hepatitis C and HIV that, quote, I didn't know I had before I got to prison, and now I have them, he says. His health issues also make him feel less able to defend himself than he used to be. Derek got HIV and hepatitis C from intravenous drug use, but has been labeled a, quote, hoe and, quote, gay by some other prisoners since he got the diagnosis. When he was diagnosed with HIV, he reflects, I came down and let the guys know in my dorm so they could go and get checked. I was trying to do that from the heart, but I have a couple of times now wish I hadn't done that, because like I said, it changed a lot of things for me in here. It's got some of these guys looking at me sideways like, damn, is this guy gay or not? Because gay is a rough thing in prison, man. So I'm guessing he probably let the dudes know he doesn't share needles with, right? Things of that nature. Commendable. Most people try to hide that shit, right? For the most part, dudes that are gay, they get treated pretty rough. You're not allowed to go in the ice coolers and things like that. Certain things they can't do, or they get their head knocked off in here. As noted by the Washington Post, federal authorities have faulted Alabama state officials for what they said was a failure to fully investigate sexual assault in prison, and implying that a gay man cannot be graped. Derek continues, I didn't want that kind of name put on me, but that's neither here nor there, and I done what I thought I had to do by informing others of my diagnosis. Derek explains that there are other reasons people know of his diagnosis as well. He says prisoners are being denied privacy rights around certain medical information, which we'll come back to later in this story. Quote, this prison is flooded with HIV, he says, and it's not from homosexuality, it's from drug use. AL.com reported in 2023, citing the Prison Policy Initiative, quote, Alabama prison inmates are about 3 times as likely as other prisoners to have HIV. Damn. People labeled gay in prison are more likely to be assaulted, says Derek, and repeatedly make sure we understand that he is not gay himself, but is being mistreated just the same because of the connotations of his diagnosis. Quote, that's why I'm in the predicament that I'm in, he says. Like I told you, I can't protect myself right now due to the shoulder injury, and they know this. What would I do if they jumped me right now? There would be nothing I could do. It wouldn't even take one good lick to that shoulder and I'd be through. It'd be over with for me. I can barely move the damn thing now. It hurts to even cough. He was assaulted recently since his shoulder was injured from the fall. He was slapped in the face by another prisoner a couple of days before our interview. Quote, it wasn't that bad, but if I tried to fight back or something, they do a lot of clutching in here. There are a lot of groups that run together, and if you jump on one, you got to jump on all of them type of deal. And they know that I'm HIV positive, and that makes it even worse for me because they don't want to put their hands on me. So if I do get attacked, for the most part, they'll attack me with weapons, sticks and stuff to keep them from getting my blood on their hands. Damn, man, that's crazy. You think people would leave, bro, the hell alone if you got HIV, you gonna get blood on you, definitely if you draw it. It could be a microscopic amount of blood, man, SMH. Elaborating on health issues and violence, quote, the head trauma and the seizures is one thing. That was the first thing, basically. All the head traumas that I've been through were making me have these seizures. Also, 4 of my teeth got knocked out at Staten due to being hit in the mouth with a lock. This is years ago. When this happened, I went back to the gate. And see, at Staten, you got Staten, Elmore, and one other camp. All 3 of them right there together, I think found. And they all use the HCU, the hospital care unit. So I'm standing there bleeding, blood all over me, with my teeth in my hands. And the officer told me to, quote, go back. I mean, scared and smashed like I was in the face with this lock. I'm not trying to go back in the dorm with that dude that just beat me with the lock standing down there. I'm not going that way. How crazy would that be? He knocked 4 of my teeth out. Quote, well, the officer wouldn't open the gate and wouldn't let me go to the hospital. He was telling me to go back. I wasn't trying to get disrespectful or not obey his orders, but to me, I couldn't see me going back the way this dude just beat me with this lock. But anyway, to make a long story short, then the police came out there and jumped on me. That got I&I involved, which is the Prison's Intelligence and Investigations Department, and that got them involved. A lady lieutenant named Shepard that worked at the I&I at the time came over there and talked to me and interviewed me. By the next day, I was gone. They C-51 me. A C-51 is an emergency transfer to another prison, often without cause or as punishment. Quote, I wasn't in the next camp a full day. I hadn't even healed up yet. And that was when I got hit in the mouth again, he continues. That time it broke my jaw. I was at Ventures when that happened. Me and another prisoner were walking along together. The next thing I know, he just planted one on me, hit me right in the mouth. He hit me so hard it knocked me completely out. So anyway, that was the one that broke my jaw that time. They said it fractured it in 27 places. Damn. So some of these assaults are for no reason, huh? When I woke up, my mouth was wired shut. They never were supposed to wire my mouth shut to begin with because of me being a seizure patient, but they did. I ended up having to get surgery again and getting that other thing put on my face. The last time I got to see my mother alive was at Ventures before her and my sister both died of COVID in 2021. I was in the hospital at Ventures and she got to come see me one last time before they ended up dying. I had to see her like that with that on my face and it broke my heart. Anyway, whenever that happened, I ended up having to stay in the hospital for a minute following that back and forth between Kilby and Ventures, going to the doctors and stuff out there in the free world and staying in those hospitals just trying to heal up. Derek was, quote, in a relationship with a woman in the free world for a long time. She rode with me for like 13 years, he says, but due to his imprisonment and health issues that have come with it, Derek has let go of that relationship also. When he found out he was HIV positive, he, quote, lost a lot of hope. Yes, I did, he recalls. For a minute there, it had me thinking, damn, I'm never going to get out of here. And luckily, God and my spirit and the people in here were talking to me saying, Derek, that's just a lie, man. That's just something they want you to believe because you can make it through this. You've made it this far. You could make it further. But I don't have much hope in this anymore, and I let her go. I called her and I told her what the deal was with the diagnosis, and I told her even if I was to be out of prison, out on parole, I can't be with her. I can't go with her and risk giving her this disease. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I went there and told her to go about her business if that's what she wanted to do, because I know she wants to have a life too, and I'm not trying to hold her back. I have talked to her. She still answers the phone for me occasionally. Man, that's heartbreaking, man. Imagine having to let your sweet thing go because you contracted HIV in prison because you wanted to get geek. Tough pill to swallow, man. We again return to the issues of violence, health problems, and the healthcare systems in the prison. I asked Derek more about his seizures. Head trauma, he reiterates, and they've had to change up my seizure medications a couple of times. They've had me on Depakote. Now, I'm allergic to Depakote, and I can't take that. So they got me on a medicine called Keppra, and I have to take it twice a day, 8 in the morning and 8 at night. They have pill calls. I get 2 big pills in the morning and nighttime pill calls. I mean, I hate to say it, man, but I have to have that medicine because if I don't take it, if I miss one night, I don't go down there and get my medicine the next morning, I'll have a seizure. He had his first seizure in 2009 or 2010. After I'd been hurt a few times in the prison, he says, and when I got hit over the head with that lock and stayed, it knocked my teeth out, he adds. I don't know if you've ever been in any fights or anything before, but I've been in a lot of them in here, and I've got my brains beat out a lot of times because of the cludging thing that I was telling you about. They're bad about that in here. Cludging refers to prisoners ganging up to participate in assaults together rather than one-on-one fights. It seems to be regional slang. I can only find it defined or discussed in court files and only in this region. Bitches. Also, for the most part, he continues, a lot of the things that have happened to me have been caused by inmates. Me getting assaulted by other inmates, yes, but some of the things that have happened to me have been caused by the police. He gives an example he's struggling with now. If I go and tell them I'm homicidal and suicidal, they're supposed to lock me up. I tried to do that a few times, and they won't lock me up. They say I'm faking it. They won't lock me up, and when I said I'm suicidal and homicidal, a lot of those times I'm not just suicidal and thinking about taking my own life. I really am homicidal, man, because I'm tired of taking this shit I have to take. A lot of these things in here, especially in the last few years, I've just had to take because I knew it was better to just take that than what was going to be when I tried to fight back. Man, I know a lot of y'all are thinking, man, fuck that, I'm fighting back, but would you? When you have no win. Even in reading this, I'm thinking if you're gonna get jumped or clutched, you might as well hurt one of them really bad that where they think twice about it next time, right? Sad reality and mentality. But shit, you either gonna stand up or lay down, and if you're gonna get jumped anyways or die anyways in there, like Pitbull says, you might as well go for what you know right here. Turn the fuck up. When he has seizures, he often doesn't remember what happened. When my hip and knee got broken, he recalls, I was having a seizure. The inmates were banging on the window trying to get the police's attention because we're really overcrowded and they don't have enough people here. They don't have enough guards working. In other words, they have guards working in the hallways and in the cubes. Here recently, they haven't had enough guards to work the cubes. So the guard in the hallway has to go in the cube and man the cube and open up our doors from the inside of the cube. Then they come back out in the hallway and run the hallway. Damn. After the prisoners started banging on the windows when Derek was having a seizure, they came down there to see what was going on, says Derek, and the people in the dorm were telling the officers that I have seizures. The lieutenant was coming up there thinking I was wigging out on dope, and the inmates that will listen to the lieutenant were telling him, nah man, that dude has seizures. They told him, don't walk up on him, he's gonna kick the shit out of you. They're telling the lieutenant this. I'm over there having a seizure. I don't know what's going on, but obviously I did kick him, but I don't know what I'm doing. And when they tried to hold me down or submit me or whatever, I go to kick it and stuff. Well, I kicked him and he picked me up over his head and slammed me on the damn concrete floor and broke my hip and knee. And they had to rush me out to the Free World Hospital and I had to have hip and knee surgery. Damn, fucking Stone Cold Steve Austin his ass. When I came back, if they think that something has happened to you and they've done the body charts on you and my head is busted and I can't tell them what happened and they don't know if I've got into a fight or what, they're supposed to protect me, but they don't. They just send me right back to the same dorm. If I have a seizure in the dorm, they gotta get the police's attention. Then they rush me to the hospital care unit. I wake up handcuffed, shackled, and belly chained to the bed up there in the hospital care unit. Most of the time, I've usually urinated on myself or something like that because I'm straining so hard having a seizure, and I'm begging these people to let me out of handcuffs and shackles. I'm all cut up from the straining because they say they have to have me in handcuffs because I'm kicking so hard. But shouldn't they have like straps with Velcro and stuff on them instead of putting you in handcuffs and shackles and stuff? But they don't, sir. This has gotten to the point where I've told the inmates in my dorm, man, look, if I'm not seizing out that bad, just don't even take me to the healthcare. They're like, man, we got to get the police and get you some help. I was like, dude, you don't understand. Every time I wake up, I'm handcuffed and shackled and belly chained to that bed, and it hurts. I'd rather just not even go through that. If you can, and I'm coming out of it, and there's a way you can just put me on my bed, I'd rather you just do that than take me to the hospital. Jesus H. Christ, man, healthcare is that damn messed up. The dude said, fuck it, if I have a seizure and I'm not clearly dying, man, just put me on the bed and tuck me in, man. Is healthcare really that? Is them chains really that uncomfortable in the bed? Y'all let me know, man. Derek also says the prison is flooded with fentanyl and other drugs. Asked how it's getting in, he reiterates what most prisoners and experts say. It beats me because we don't have any prisoners going out to the free world and coming back here. So if it's getting in here, it's got to be getting in by the officers. It's a big business, man. He says that when prisoners overdose, sometimes multiple prisoners a day, they're wheeling them up to the medical ward in a laundry cart, in wheelchairs and stuff like that, because they don't have the gurneys to take people up there. So they just dump them off in a laundry cart and push them up there. They have had the camp on lockdown 1 or 2 days last week because they had like 6 or 7 guys, bang, 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 overdose, all back to back. They were rushing them up the medical. It's really bad here, man. There are also a lot of dudes that getting amputated, says Derek. Like I said, dudes I've been knowing for years all over the system. Different camps. They were fine last time I seen them. And they get to this camp 2 or 3 years later and his leg is gone. Or I see another dude a couple years later and his foot is gone. Damn. What you mean? I see another dude at a different camp and his fingers are gone. Asked what the amputations are for, Derek answers all different types of stuff. Indeed, amputations in the Alabama prisons have been reported widely and the state has been sued in the past on this issue. He describes Bullock in greater detail. Bullock, for one, is a mental institution, he says. They have the main camp, which is where I'm at, and they have what you call the blue building, which is for real bad mental health prisoners, like people that talk to themselves and stuff like that. If people want to unalive themselves, that's where they put them. Except when you go and report that you're homicidal or suicidal, they're supposed to lock you up, but they won't with me. I tried to tell them I'm just not suicidal, I'm homicidal. It's hard taking this. I'm getting to the point where it's like I said, I was raised by a man. My dad wasn't no sissy, and I could hear his voice in my head, and he's like, man, how long will you keep taking this shit? Right? Daddy's voice is saying, boy, you better go and throw bleach in their faces and stick them in their eyes. I ain't raised no gals. Damn, man. Look, it's a bad situation when you get to a point to where you really feel you're not going to ever get out of prison. There's dudes in here that got 3-4 life sentences running wild with each other, and they know they're never getting out of prison, and they don't give a shit. They don't care about the police. They damn sure don't care about other inmates. They will kill you. I thought that after them finding out I had HIV, it would deter grapes, but there's still guys that want to have sex with me. They still talk about stuff like that. It's crazy. Derek returns to the privacy issue surrounding healthcare in prison, which he alluded to at the beginning of this story. In theory, prisoners have HIPAA rights. In my research, I've also found the Alabama Department of Corrections Administrative Regulation number 604, dated March 8, 2024, Section 3, reads, quote, confidentiality, provision or documentation of services in a manner such that protected health information cannot be overheard or otherwise accessed by unauthorized persons. In practice, it's a different story. As Derek explains, the prison system makes it easy for other prisoners to find out about it anyway. We do these telemonitor things where it's so easy for other prisoners to find out, where you speak to a doctor on the telemonitor. And the guy we see is a doctor out of Atlanta, and everybody in the prison that has HIV sees this particular doctor. They make it easy for other inmates in this camp to figure out who's got HIV because they do a newsletter every day, and that newsletter has your appointments for the camp, and they're on there for the next day. It's got everybody's name, number, bed number, door number, if they've got to go to the hospital, or classifications. And everybody that goes and sees this particular doctor that I was telling you about from Atlanta on that telemonitor, he's the only doctor for HIV prisoners. So they know everybody that goes and sees him is HIV positive. So if somebody did want to keep that private, because it's all right to keep our medical issues private, we do not have to share it with other people if we don't want to, but it's easy for them to find out. People are going to find out anyway. Since a lot of these people have found out about me, like I said, it changed their view of me. They were looking at me like a homosexual for it, but I'm not. He reiterates the frustration and rage building up as a result of harassment from other prisoners, worsened by health issues, pain, and limited ability to defend himself. I know that even though I'm in this bad health condition, even with my shoulder like it is, I could do something to make them stop. If they're going to beat the shit out of me or whatever's going to happen, I can tell you one thing. If I wanted to put a stop to it, I could. That's why I'm trying to tell the officers that I'm homicidal, because I am, especially when it comes to taking bullshit and being treated any kind of way. When I try to get the police to lock me up to keep me from getting in trouble and get another disciplinary or catching a case, I already have a problem getting out of here on this life sentence for drug trafficking. What you think they're going to do if I stab one of these dudes in here and catch a murder case or something because I was rightfully trying to protect myself? I'm telling these people I need to be locked up, but they won't do it. Put me in protective custody, they won't do it. Further, Derek discusses the overcrowding and violence problems in Bullock, consistent with prisons throughout the state, and which causes and exacerbates many other problems in the prison, if not all other problems in the prisons. Man, it's super overcrowded in here, he says. Being homeless in the first place is a bad situation, but being homeless in prison, that's even more terrible. These dudes are having to sleep on the floor, they don't have a mat, they don't have blankets. I see older men in wheelchairs. These guys wheeled them the child and they're taking their food for them. A lot of dudes don't get to eat. They're hungry. I'm looking at a dude right now. He's laying on the concrete floor. He doesn't have a mat. He doesn't have a blanket, a sheet, or anything. Just his clothes. He doesn't have a coat. I'm looking at him, watching him right now. He's got his arm pulled inside his shirt. He has to have his arm pulled inside his shirt because it's freezing. Laying there on the damn floor, and the police know it, and they won't do anything about it. Well, the police might give you a mat. You take that, put it on your bed, and the first time they call you out to chow or something like that, you come back and it's gone. Somebody done stole the damn thing. What are you supposed to do about that? That's one of those situations where I've closed up from fighting, man. I didn't used to have to take stuff like this. I'm not used to it. I've had to draw back into myself and take this kind of stuff. But I'm telling you, I'm super homicidal right now. And if I do something or hurt one of these dudes, I can't get myself out of here. But if I'm going to be stuck in here, I'd rather be in lockup. I'd rather be getting some help to where at least I have some kind of protection. The officers don't understand that. They've got to put me in a cell. I've done that one time before. About 7-8 months ago, I stabbed a guy. Me and him got into an altercation and I stabbed him. And when the police came to find out what was going on, they know me by name. So they're like, Derek, what the hell you got going on? I was like, I don't know, man. Who are you fighting with? I was like, I don't know who they were. I only know one of them. And I said, I don't know anybody else but the one dude. And the officer was like, what do you mean? And I still had the ice pick in my hand. I held it out to him and I said, I stabbed him. And I held the ice pick out to him and tried to give it to him. And you know what he told me? He said, I don't want that shit, man. Throw it on the ground. And then I threw it on the ground in the yard. And he didn't even take the dang thing. Didn't even write me up for it. I guess it wasn't bad enough for him. They're not going to do no paperwork, man. They're already low on officers and they're not trying to do no paperwork. And there y'all have it, man. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section. Damn, man, y'all can see dude can't win for losing, man. Guess he should have life flighted that dude instead of just nicking him. And maybe they would have locked him up, man. Definitely something to think about. Living with HIV in prison is one thing, but living with HIV in an Alabama prison? Shit, even getting a cold in here could fuck you all the way over bad, man. the harassment from other prisoners and stuff, man, sheesh, man. I say turn up and keep turning up until you're left the fuck alone. They get the message. They're gonna jump you anyway. Go ahead and disfigure something while you at it, if you're able, man. I know it's easier said than done, but y'all heard him. Daddy's in his head like, boy, don't take that shit. I hope you kids are paying attention. This was a touching article for real. But anyways, man, y'all like, sub, share, comment, donate to the channel's Cash App and PayPal. Visit our sponsor, PAX Los Angeles, in the description. DC The Voice, Alabama Prisoner Profiles, out the game!